I hate trying to figure out how to start these things.
Black Monday Murders comics. Well,
There we
actually,
go.
just 3 comics that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But everyone, I'll say it in that. Black Monday Murder comics.
Another episode of Wet Ink. 3 comics that have fewer than 5 issues. First is Black Monday Murders. Story by Jonathan Hickman. Art by Tom Coker. Colors by Michael Garland. Normally, and the lettering by Russ Wooton. So, Black Monday Murders is kind of about the biggest financial institutions in the world are kind of held up by these satanic rituals and sacrifices.
Yep.
And but then there's been a murder recently, right? There hasn't been a sacrifice for 100 years,
right?
Since the Great Depression, and
right.
now there's been
and now I
one.
think one had to be made.
Yeah.
And I guess the case has fallen into this detective's lap as he's figuring out what's really going on and stuff like that, as far as I remember.
Yeah, and the detective kind of knows. He kind of seems to know something about it.
Right, because he's asking the questions, I think he was talking to that one, was it a psychologist or some doctor guy about their certain language and stuff like that. And it just seems really book smart. He seems real educated, which I like, which I'm digging a lot on.
Yeah. And I was going to say, I mentioned the guy who does the lettering for it. Normally, letterers don't get a lot of props in comic books, but I feel like in this one he needs it, because just the way he draws his letters and sets the typefaces really lends to the feel of the comic. He's just got this almost like an old German horror movie kind of feel.
Oh
with,
yeah.
High contrast black and white.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dirty typewriter kind of.
Again, I love the grit, the contrast with the black and white. It's just so bold for sure. For me, I'm really digging the character illustration too. I mean, just how things are illustrated on there. Just the blood scenes and stuff like that is really. I'm really digging all that as well. I would also say like I was saying with the character illustration. I'm really digging a lot. I think that was one of the biggest things that attracted me. And then on top of that, to have, 45 or 40 plus pages.
Yeah, the first issue was over 40 pages, which is
I think it's awesome.
Big for considering most issues are 25, 23 pages.
Right.
And then especially if you go DC, it's 23 pages and 6 pages of ads.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
But
don't forget your Snickers bar.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm digging the story is interesting, I want to see where it's going. Like you said, the art is great. I love how it goes back and forth between, the story, and then it just kind of, inserts these weird little, historical documents, lists of all the people who have been sacrificed, or, lists of, corporate mergers, which, normally would be boring, but in this story, a corporate merger is, an evil, spiritual to-do kind of thing.
It's pretty cool how they're collaborating and working all this stuff together. I think it's pretty interesting, which is why I'm I want to read more. I can tell there's a lot of layers to this.
Yeah.
And so I just want to learn more about it for sure.
Yeah, and then all the the symbology.
Oh yeah,
all over it, and it's the book just looks creepy.
Yeah.
The book itself, not just the story. Something you'd find stashed away in an old an old church or something in the Black Forest of Germany.
Yeah.
But so Black Monday Murder, awesome, recommended.
Definitely worth checking out.
Next thing, the other one that's newish. I think the first issue came out in September. Cannibal.
Got it.
Story by Brian Buccellato and Jennifer Young. Art by Matthias Bergara. Cannibal is kind of about. So there's this mosquito-borne virus that's turning people into cannibals, but the trick is they still retain their higher functions. So they've got this overwhelming desire to eat people, but they still know what's wrong and they don't want to, but they're compelled to. And there's this small town in Florida that hasn't seen an outbreak yet. They've been kind of this sanctuary in the middle of this outbreak, and now they're starting to see their first cases of it. And For me, the first issue, I wasn't really hooked on the first issue. It was kind of, the story pacing felt weird.
Okay.
But it was interesting enough that I pushed on to the second issue. And now I feel the pacing is better, maybe because they've already established the scenes and the characters.
Right.
And the story is getting interesting now.
This is where it's also that family, he kidnapped. There was a fun thing for them. He kidnapped his girl or whatever, was pretending to do something to her.
Yeah. At the
and
end
then
of the first issue,
she goes up missing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah. I really dig. I really like the characters in this one. Again, like Southern bastards. I really am enjoying this grit stuff and
well, I have a note here that's like the artwork in it. It feels like a slightly cleaner Southern Bastards.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of angular, sketchy.
Perfectly. Yeah.
Kinda,
yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah.
But the cop, the main cop in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole town, they just want blood. They want a whole who got this person. They want to go ahead.
When the kid went missing.
Yeah.
The book opens up. It's not really spoiling anything. The book opens up with the kid being killed and eaten.
Right.
And that kind of sets things in motion where the town just kind of goes nuts and like you said, they're out for blood to find out who did it.
Yeah. And I'm curious about this story as well to see what's going to happen next, especially about how big is this outbreak of this disease? How big is it going to get?
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see if they tell any more stories outside of outside that little town.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or even because I know it was it's from the mosquito or something like that, wasn't it? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I got you. Because it reminds me a lot of, with The Walking Dead, but I think, if I remember correctly, I don't think people know how The Walking Dead, how that all started just yet.
Right.
But I like the caveat to, it where being, the people still know, they're still them, they're still people.
Yeah, that's
and
awful.
they're yeah. So that I'm really curious about to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely also recommended. Cannibal. I'll do it at the end.
Yeah.
All right. Last one, Warlords of Appalachia. Yeah, I think this one is...
I want to say before, how should we, because I don't want to just be oh yeah, check this comic out, check this comic out.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's what we're getting into. But this one, the Warlords one, for sure, holy cow, I think this is a really good...
Yeah.
Because you just bought it on a whim. You just wanted
I saw the cover and it looked cool. Yeah, same way I found Glitter Bomb.
Yeah. And both of them, bam,
yep.
home runs, dude.
Yep.
So, with that said, though, you can go ahead and tell the whole storyline, but I don't want us to be always saying oh, recommend type of deal. So,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's cool. No, we'll see. If every new comic book can't be a home run.
It can't be. Right. Exactly.
We'll just say we'll go into the comic book shop someday. I'll go in with the idea of doing this rather than trying to find something I know I'm gonna like.
Got you.
We'll just see. Maybe I'll try that. Okay. Warlords of Appalachia. Story by Philip K. Johnson. Art by Jonas Scharf.
Sure.
One of the two.
Freaking amazing artwork, dude.
Yeah. So this, disappointingly, I think is supposed to be a mini-series with only 4 issues. They're already 2 issues deep. The premise is that it takes place after a second American Civil War, and the U.S. pretty much just crushed the insurgents, but Kentucky is still kind of holding out. So there's an American military presence in Kentucky, kind of holding it back, but there's still some stragglers in Kentucky still fighting the war. And one town in particular is occupied pretty heavily by American soldiers. But there's this guy, Cade Mercer, who I think they kind of live in the forest, or they live in the mountains.
Yeah.
And he's basically just trying to take care of his son and his family.
Right. He doesn't want anything to do
Yeah.
He just wants to be with his family.
Yeah. He doesn't have political ambitions. He's not on one side or the other. He just wants to be left alone to take care of his family, to take care of his kid, and obviously that doesn't work out too well for him.
Yeah. Well, they have in the forest was it Blue Boys?
The Blue Boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember you did a wiki thing or something like that because we were.
Yeah.
It was a pretty cool reference that I can't remember off the top.
It's not referencing.
It's not a diss to the actual Kentucky team or something.
To the Kentucky basketball.
I think it was the basketball. I think that's what it.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I think
it's a reference to some family that lived in Kentucky that had like some genetic anomaly that turned their skin blue.
And that's what I liked a lot. I was like, oh snap, that's a pretty cool, to invest that in there. I thought that was a pretty spiffy idea.
I think in Warlords, the blue boys are blue because they're addicted to this drug called Sweet Rock, which I think is supposed to be like an analog to methamphetamines.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So there's that, and then, so you got the blue boys that are like a danger in the mountains of Kentucky, and you got the American Army in there, which is they're kind of like, I mean, they're like any occupying force. Sometimes they're trying to hold order, sometimes things get out of hand, and then you also got this like church, I guess, like the Mountain Faith.
Yeah.
So these like really religious people, because I think the thing that caused the Second Civil War is the government like cracked down on religious extremism.
Yeah. Right.
But kind of like maybe too hard, because you notice in the second issue there's that like thing at the bottom that's like, what do you do if you were if you see a religious extremist? But then the definition of religious extremist is like all Muslims.
Right.
Like half of the sects of Christianity and like anyone who believes in like anything other than the state religion.
Right. Yep. I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah. So you got these Mountain Faith people who are super religious and kind of being cracked down on. And then you've also got, they just introduced at the end of the second issue, the augmented cavalry.
That, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, because it takes place in the near future. So there's these like, without giving too much away, they're kind of like a sci-fi special forces group, it seems like.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because the way that it was shot in there, I was thinking like, oh snap, the blue boys were about to get that family or something like that. And then come to find out, no, it's these augmented militia people. Yeah. And they look awesome. Like they look just dismantled, torn up, been through just hell and back, and really curious to see what's going to happen. Yeah. What's going to unfold
I definitely
next
want to see what's going on. I mean, especially too, because you got like, I think Cade's an interesting character.
Yeah.
The way he just wants to be kind of like left alone, and he's just kind of going to be pushed.
Yeah.
Sully, that soldier, who I don't know if he's just like friends. Cause I think Sully was like a local.
You're talking about the girl, right?
The girl, yeah. She was a local Kentuckian, but she was in the U.S. Army, so she's kind of like occupying her own.
Right.
It's a weird like conflict of interest thing with her, and I think she's friends or maybe romantically involved with Cade.
I think
one or the other.
Yeah.
And the other thing though that's interesting is the writer is active duty U.S. Army.
There we go. Yeah.
So I'm interested to see if that affects. I'm interested to see if like portions of that experience leak into the story.
Right.
So
I am curious too. I guess because of my boys and stuff like that. I am curious to see what the main character's son is going to do, because right now he's held captive.
Right.
And like I guess his thing was that he has partial the sickness or something like that. So he doesn't talk. He doesn't. Right. He's not like a average whatever age boy is. But like the thing is that the kid is really smart. Chess.
Yep.
Chess is his name.
Chess. Yeah. Chess.
And I just really like the angles that are snapped with him, especially when the one militia dude was saying like, if you want to write something or something like that, and the kid just played dumb. I thought that was awesome.
Yep.
And then just like tore that piece off. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen.
He's not as dumb as he plays.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I love that.
I can't wait to see what
I love that, yeah.
And just like you're saying, the artwork in that is great.
Yep.
It's
this is weird, but I'm gonna say it. I don't care. I love how the hands are drawn in this. I love just like how expressive they are, and like how much detail just in the hand, not just on the main character, but like across the board. I just really appreciate how much detail this one is with the hands, which sounds kind of a weird compliment, but still, like I dig it. I really, and like I don't know, the pacing with this one is right up what I've been itching. Yeah.
I was gonna mention
such a good find. Such a good find, dude.
The first third of the book when like that they're trying to like suppress that riot.
Yeah.
There's like that warning going on about like the personnel suppression system is coming online in 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Like the way he laid that out with the alternating between the text and the images, that was like that's probably the most suspenseful sequence I've ever seen in a comic book.
Yeah, exactly.
It felt like it was so cinematic and just so good.
Yep. Did you happen to notice the part when he was like getting, I guess he got on the horse and was riding back to get the girl? Did you happen to notice the dog getting shot?
Yeah. That was. Yeah.
I was like, oh no. But yeah. Yeah, the pacing on that part. Because I was like, oh, what's going to happen? What's going on? And I was like, oh, it's a whole bunch of like the little machines and stuff like that. And I was like, oh no, they about to just annihilate.
And the white text is counting down. Like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and then it's like 10, 9. I'm like, oh my god.
I just love how it immerses you in it. Like you just get involved. You're like, oh, what's
it totally does. Yeah. I mean, that is like a textbook example of how to use layout and and negative space and there's just the comic book medium to create suspense.
Yeah. Agree.
And pacing too, which is hard to do in like something that in a something that's not like a movie or a song.
Right.
It's hard to create proper spacing because people can stop and look around and stuff. But the way they just captured your attention with those like 4 or 5 pages was super well done.
Yeah. I can't believe. I wish it would go long. You said 4, right?
Yeah, that's what I read. Yeah, 4 issues. We'll see.
Definitely be following this guy.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
Sure. Well, the whole team. Yeah.
Supposedly, I don't know if I told you, but Sheriff of Babylon might be coming back for another 12 issues.
Okay.
So
that's good.
I wouldn't mind seeing another 4 issues of Warlords of Appalachia.
Have we even talked about Sheriff of Babylon?
No.
Oh, okay.
We can another time.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not new, but it's no reason we can't talk about it.
Understood.
Especially if they come out with a new series.
Dope.
Yeah. He's got another one called Last Sons of America, I think.
Oh.
I haven't checked that out yet, but I think that's his first book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that might be interesting to check out.
Okay.
See what that is. See if he's got. I wonder if that's going to be his kind of
like his niche,
his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But yeah, Warlords of Appalachia recommended yet again.
Yeah. Such a good find. I mean, like that's a genuine like why when we started going to the comic shop just to like randomly find something, that was a really good gem, dude. So. Yeah,
and disproves the don't judge a book by its cover.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. All right, cool. So, Black Monday Murders, recommended.
Yup.
Cannibal, recommended.
Yeah.
Warlords of Appalachia, recommended. Someday we'll find one that we don't recommend.
Yeah, I just, because I don't want to be like, all the time they go, or whoever's reviewing and reading, it's like, oh yeah, they're going to like whatever. And like at the same time, we've just been lucky so far. Like every new one we've been.
And like I said before, I wasn't buying comics with thoughts to do reviews.
Yeah.
I was buying things that I was pretty sure I was going to like.
Yeah.
So, maybe I'll go in there and just like say to whatever his name is, the dude is Matt, it's like, hey, give me 3 new issues that came out last month or whatever,
Smart, yeah. Okay.
Cool. All right. Card just started, so I think that's a cue to
That's
end.
a cue. Nah,
cool.
dope.
All right, thanks again, man.
Always a pleasure.
It's done.